They shaped the dreams of generations. They boldly defined Black beauty when the world refused to see it. From the south side of Chicago, one remarkable family built a media empire that would influence presidents, inspire movements, and fundamentally transform how Black Americans viewed themselves. Their iconic magazines became cultural institutions, their influence stretching far beyond newsstands into the very fabric of American society. With nothing but determination and a mother's sacrificial $500 loan, they rose from poverty to become one of the most powerful Black families in media history. Who are they? The legendary Johnsons of Chicago. John Harold Johnson was born on January 19, 1918 in Arkansas City, Arkansas, a small town along the Mississippi River where opportunities for Black families were scarce and dreams often withered under the crushing weight of segregation. His father, Leroy Johnson, worked tirelessly at a sawmill, providing what little he could for his young family. Tragedy struck early when Leroy died in a devastating work accident, leaving 6-year-old John and his mother Gertrude to navigate a world that offered them hardship and uncertainty. Gertrude Johnson refused to let circumstances define her son's future. She was a woman of fierce determination and unwavering faith, believing that education held the key to a better life. In Arkansas City, there was no high school that would accept Black students. For Gertrude, this was simply unacceptable. She made a decision that would alter the course of American media history forever. In 1933, during the depths of the Great Depression, Gertrude packed up everything they owned and moved the family north to Chicago. The city promised what Arkansas could not offer: opportunity and hope for a brighter future. Young John enrolled at DuSable High School, where his natural intellect and drive quickly became apparent to all who encountered him. He excelled academically, serving as editor of the school newspaper and president of the student council. Teachers recognized something special in him, a spark that refused to be extinguished by circumstance. After graduating, Johnson attended the University of Chicago while working part-time at Supreme Life Insurance Company, one of the largest Black-owned businesses in the nation at that time. It was here that his entrepreneurial vision began to crystallize into something tangible. His job involved compiling a weekly digest of news articles about Black Americans for the company's president. As he gathered these clippings week after week, a revolutionary idea took shape. Why not create a publication that celebrated Black achievement and culture for a wider audience? The concept was bold. The timing seemed impossible. Yet Johnson was undeterred. He approached bank after bank seeking a loan to fund his dream. Every single one rejected him flatly and without hesitation. Who would invest in a magazine for Black readers? The conventional wisdom said there was no market, no advertisers, no future in such a venture. But conventional wisdom had never met Gertrude Johnson. When every door closed, John's mother made the ultimate sacrifice. She pawned her furniture, the modest pieces she had worked a lifetime to acquire, and secured a $500 loan, using them as collateral. That precious $500 represented everything she had in this world. It also represented everything she believed her son could become. Armed with his mother's sacrifice and an unshakable vision, Johnson launched Negro Digest in November 1942. The magazine was modeled after Reader's Digest, offering condensed articles on Black life, culture, and achievement. He had no office, no staff, and no distribution network. What he had was determination and hustle. Johnson personally went door to door, convincing beauty parlors and barbershops to carry his publication. He wrote letters to every subscriber he could find, building his audience one reader at a time. The early months were a struggle. Circulation grew slowly, hovering around a few thousand copies. Then came the breakthrough that would establish Johnson as a force in American publishing. He wrote to Eleanor Roosevelt, the First Lady of the United States, asking her to contribute an article titled, "If I Were a Negro." To the complete astonishment of many, she agreed. When that issue hit newsstands, circulation exploded to 50,000 copies almost overnight. Negro Digest had proven something the publishing industry refused to believe. There was indeed a market hungry for positive Black representation, and John H. Johnson knew exactly how to serve it. But he was far from finished. His ambitions stretched far, far beyond a single digest. On November 1st, 1945, Johnson took his boldest step yet. He launched Ebony magazine, a glossy publication named after the fine black African wood, a deliberate choice symbolizing pride and beauty. Unlike Negro Digest, which focused on reprinted articles, Ebony featured original content celebrating Black success, lifestyle, and culture. The first issue printed 25,000 copies. They sold out immediately. It was a gamble that paid off. Ebony was revolutionary. At a time when mainstream media either ignored Black Americans or portrayed them through degrading stereotypes, Ebony showed them as doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, and artists. It depicted Black families thriving, Black love flourishing, and Black excellence shining brightly. For millions of readers, Ebony became more than a magazine. It was a mirror reflecting back the dignity and beauty that society denied them. The publication's popularity surged beyond anyone's wildest expectations, and John H. Johnson transformed from a struggling entrepreneur into a publishing pioneer whose influence was only beginning to unfold. The success of Ebony was merely the opening act. John H. Johnson understood that his readers craved information delivered in different formats and frequencies. In 1951, he launched Jet magazine, a pocket-sized weekly publication that would become an indispensable part of Black American life. Small enough to fit in a purse or back pocket, Jet delivered news, entertainment, and cultural updates with remarkable speed and intimacy. Its compact size belied its enormous impact on the community it served so faithfully. Jet's influence crystallized in September 1955 when it published photographs that shocked the conscience of a nation. Emmett Till, a 14-year-old Black boy from Chicago, had been brutally murdered in Mississippi for allegedly whistling at a white woman. His mother, Mamie Till Mobley, insisted on an open casket funeral to show the world what hatred had done to her son. Jet published those devastating images when mainstream publications refused to acknowledge the horror. The photographs ignited outrage that helped spark the modern civil rights movement. Johnson had proven that his magazines were not merely entertainment, they were instruments of change and justice. But Johnson was building more than influential publications. He was building an empire alongside his greatest partner. Eunice Walker Johnson was born on April 4, 1916. She married John in 1941, and together they formed an unstoppable team. While John focused on editorial vision and business expansion, Eunice brought her own genius to the enterprise. In 1958, she created Ebony Fashion Fair, a traveling fashion show that would become the world's largest of its kind. The show toured nearly 200 cities each year, showcasing haute couture from the world's finest designers and proving that Black beauty belonged on every runway. The fashion fair accomplished something remarkable. Major designers who had never considered Black models suddenly clamored to have their creations featured. Eunice negotiated with fashion houses in Paris, Milan, and New York, securing pieces that had never graced Black skin before. The show became a cultural phenomenon, drawing thousands of attendees in each city and generating millions for charity. Eunice also developed Fashion Fair Cosmetics, the first major makeup line specifically formulated for women of color. It became the top-selling Black-owned cosmetic brand in the world. Johnson Publishing Company was now a juggernaut. By the 1970s, Ebony's circulation soared past 2 million readers monthly, making it one of the most widely read magazines in America, regardless of demographic. Jet reached over 1 million weekly subscribers. Together, the publications generated advertising revenue that had once seemed impossible for Black-owned media. Johnson had achieved what every bank and skeptic said could never happen. He had convinced corporate America to invest in Black consumers. The advertising breakthroughs came through sheer persistence and brilliance. Johnson personally pitched outmatched major corporations, demonstrating the purchasing power of his readers with detailed demographic data. One by one, giants like Zenith, Coca-Cola, and Ford began placing advertisements in his pages. These were not charity placements. They were sound business decisions driven by Johnson's undeniable evidence of market potential. By the 1980s, Johnson Publishing generated over $500 million in annual revenue. In 1982, John H. Johnson achieved a milestone that cemented his place in American business history. Forbes included him on its prestigious Forbes 400 list of wealthiest Americans. He became the first Black American ever to appear on that exclusive roster. His net worth climbed to an estimated $600 million, a staggering sum built entirely from that original $500 loan his mother had sacrificed everything to provide. The Johnson family had established themselves as publishing royalty. Their 11-story headquarters on Michigan Avenue in Chicago stood as a monument to Black achievement, a landmark building that commanded respect in the heart of the city's business district. Inside those walls, hundreds of employees worked to produce content that shaped how Black Americans saw themselves and how the world saw Black Americans. Yet John H. Johnson was not building merely for himself. He was building a dynasty. His daughter, Linda Johnson Rice, born on March 22, 1958, had grown up watching her parents transform an industry. She earned degrees from the University of Southern California and Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, preparing herself to eventually helm the family enterprise. Linda joined Johnson Publishing in the 1980s, learning every aspect of the business under her father's exacting guidance. The family's lifestyle reflected their extraordinary success. Beyond the corporate headquarters, the Johnsons maintained an impressive real estate portfolio, including properties in Chicago and a vacation home in Palm Springs. John collected fine art and traveled the world, meeting with heads of state and cultural icons who sought audiences with the man who had revolutionized media. His influence extended far beyond publishing into the very fabric of American society. Beyond the boardrooms and printing presses, the Johnson family's heart beat strongest in their commitment to giving back. John H. Johnson never forgot where he came from, and he dedicated substantial resources to ensuring others could follow the path he had blazed. The Ebony Fashion Fair alone raised more than $55 million for charity over its remarkable run, with proceeds benefiting scholarships, hospitals, and community organizations across the nation. Every glamorous runway show served a purpose far greater than fashion. It funded dreams for countless young people who needed a hand up. The nation took notice of Johnson's extraordinary contributions. In 1996, President Bill Clinton awarded him the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. Standing in the White House, the boy from Arkansas City, who had once been denied entry to his local high school, now received recognition from the leader of the free world. It was a moment that encapsulated everything his journey represented: the triumph of vision over circumstance, of persistence over prejudice. Johnson received countless other accolades throughout his remarkable career. He earned the NAACP's Spingarn Medal, was inducted into the Publishing Hall of Fame, and collected honorary degrees from universities across the country. Business schools studied his strategies. Entrepreneurs sought his counsel. He had become not merely successful, but iconic, a symbol of what Black excellence could achieve when given even the slightest opportunity to flourish. Eunice Johnson passed away on January 3, 2010, leaving behind an indelible legacy in fashion and philanthropy. Her Fashion Fair cosmetics had revolutionized the beauty industry, proving that women of color deserved products created specifically for their skin tones. Her traveling fashion show had introduced haute couture to communities that mainstream fashion had long ignored. Together with John, she had built something that transcended business. They had built a movement. John H. Johnson himself departed this world on August 8, 2005, at the age of 87. His passing marked the end of an era, but not the end of his influence. Thousands attended his memorial service in Chicago, paying tribute to a man who had transformed American media through sheer willpower and unwavering belief in his community. He left behind a legacy measured not just in dollars, but in the millions of lives he had touched and inspired. Leadership of the family enterprise passed to Linda Johnson Rice, who had spent decades preparing for this responsibility. As chairman and chief executive officer, she guided Johnson Publishing through the challenging transition into the digital age. The media landscape had shifted dramatically since her father launched Negro Digest with borrowed money and boundless hope. Print publications everywhere struggled against the internet's rise, and Johnson Publishing faced pressures that required difficult decisions. In 2016, the company sold Jet magazine to a digital media company, acknowledging the changing ways audiences consume news and entertainment. Ebony followed a similar path, transitioning through various ownership structures as the family worked to preserve the publication's legacies while adapting to modern realities. These changes were bittersweet, but they reflected the same pragmatic wisdom John H. Johnson had always demonstrated, the understanding that survival sometimes requires evolution. The Johnson family's impact on American media and culture cannot be overstated. For generations, Ebony and Jet were the primary sources of positive Black representation in print media. They celebrated achievements that mainstream publications ignored. They covered stories that mattered to Black communities when no one else would. They provided a platform for writers, photographers, and thinkers who shaped the national conversation on race, equality, and justice. Their pages documented the civil rights movement, the rise of Black political power, and the flourishing of Black culture across every domain. Today, the Johnson legacy continues to inspire new generations of Black entrepreneurs, publishers, and dreamers. The family demonstrated that with vision, sacrifice, and relentless determination, barriers that seem insurmountable can indeed be overcome. From a $500 loan secured by pawned furniture to a media empire worth hundreds of millions, their story remains a testament to the extraordinary possibilities that emerge when talent meets opportunity and refuses to accept limitation. The Johnson family of Chicago did not merely build a company. They built a mirror in which Black America could finally see itself reflected with dignity, beauty, and pride. Their influence shaped how a nation perceived its own citizens and how those citizens perceived themselves. For that immeasurable gift, they will forever reign among the most influential families in American history. For more stories celebrating Black excellence and achievement, stay tuned to discover the remarkable journeys of those who dared to dream beyond boundaries.